supported by any moral human being. That's the problem that Donald will face in that regard. And the most amazing thing about this is that his popularity grew after this inane comment and statement. He not only said it before the debates, the last Republican debate, he said it during the debate. And, at this point, when Jeb Bush says you're saying something pretty stupid, you ought to listen. I guess. You should, I think. I don't know. Donald doesn't have to worry. I hold true to what I believed 5 months ago and said on my PLP podcast. Donald's not going to be the nominee for the Republican Party. He's not. I just can't conceive of that possibility. I can't see the GOP being so to the point of scrubbing the bottom of the barrel that this is the best they can have to offer against the Democrats, whom at this point all three candidates on the Democratic side I could see easily beating Donald Trump in a general election. Why? Because right now the debates he's having is against utter idiots. Some people will even be considered crazier, almost as crazy as Donald Trump. Ted Cruz now the second front runner. Really? Ben Carson at one point was the front runner. Really? Marco Rubio was supposed to be the great Cuban hope. Really? It's just it's a sad state of affairs. And again, as I mentioned in the broadcast about 5 months ago, when I assumed at this point that the Don would have put his foot in his mouth so far that there's no way he'd still be considered a formal candidate, he would have dropped to second or third place. And from that point on, he even admitted early in his campaign that if that would have happened, he would have dropped out. Would be dropped out by now. Wow. How wrong was I? Well, it's early, folks. I'm not wrong yet. I still believe this is basically a promotional campaign designed to make whomever he endorses a winner in the general election. And it's not going to be Jeb Bush. We know that. And I don't think that at this point we can put it in Ted Cruz's hands to be the person that Donald Trump would endorse, nor Ben Carson. I can guarantee you on that. I still hold some belief that it's going to be Marco Rubio. But it's looking like it's the Lakers are up by 15 with 2.5 minutes to go. And boy, them Celtics better start making some buckets. You know what I mean? But this latest gaffe, anybody else would have said it would have been ran out of town, probably deported as across the border with the Mexicans he so loves to hate. But not Donald. He gains popularity. Why does he do that? How does he gain popularity, you say? He understands that Americans have, especially in his party, an extremely short attention span and no desire to do research. Nobody has the desire to check out any of the things he says on the debate floor. We know this, anybody else says on the debate floor for that matter. We have all the time all these organizations coming out and telling us all the lies, all the things that weren't true said on the debate floor, but nobody really cares about that. They still they don't care about that. They listen to the debates and they believe everything they're being told is the truth. How insane is that if every single candidate on that debate floor were told they could only tell the truth? Nobody would win an election. Nobody would ever be considered an electable candidate. It's all about smoke and mirrors, folks. It's all about smoke and mirrors. And Donald Trump is the gigantic Trump Plaza of smoke and mirrors. Anyways, yes, back to his plan to ban Muslims, a temporary ban, of course, brought up again by the governor of New Hampshire during the debate on the DNC side. Again, she supports that, and she's a Democrat. Does anybody understand any of this crap? We don't care. We don't want to discriminate religions. We want to discriminate against people who want to come over our borders and kill people. Pretty simple shit, folks. And Jeb Bush will tell you, well, you can tell if they're Christian or they're jihad. You just can tell. Well, you can't really. And that's the problem with a open and free country. No matter what you do, a few nuts are going to slip by the border. It's just common sense. If the response is to shut the border down, then you shut down the very Constitution you stand for. And if you don't have anything to stand for, you are not a country, no longer you are an idea. You are the 3 steps short, basically, of being communist and socialist. A name sounding familiar there? Yes, Bernie, considered a democratic socialist, but not a communist. Don? I'll leave it at that.
If I were running The View, I'd fire Rosie. I mean, I'd look her right in that fat, ugly face of hers. I'd say, Rosie, you're fired. We're all a little chubby, but Rosie's just worse than most of us. But it's not the chubbiness. Rosie is a very unattractive person, both inside and out. Rosie's a person that's very lucky to have her girlfriend. And she better be careful or I'll send one of my friends over to pick up her girlfriend. Why would she stay with Rosie if she had another choice?
Walk with me, it's my special time.
You have been known to disagree with the council before.
Oh, thank you, Karma, for the precious gift of life. For me not being pulled over by a cop and having the color of my skin determine whether I live or am shot down in cold blood. For me not being a student at a college and having some pissed off virgin killing me and sending me to a fake place in the sky and having a cold-witted dude say, oh well, stuff happens at my passing. For me not living in another part of the world, we're just surviving what more civilized countries consider non-life-threatening ailments, only to find myself dead in a hospital bombed by such do-gooders. And most importantly, for not being so ignorant when it comes to that horrible stuff that happens, like global warming, overpopulation, financial inequality, and inappropriate campaign contributions, to not leave it up to a non-existent entity to solve these issues, but to a majority of individuals whom moral compass is firmly gripped in reality, otherwise simply known by the simple term as liberals. Thank you, Karma, for the PLP party.
Your adolescent dream, schoolboy stuff, a sticky sweet romance, and she makes you wanna scream, wishing you could get inside her pants. So you fantasize away while you're squeezing her. You thought you heard her saying, good girls don't, good girls don't, but she'd be telling you, good girls don't, but I do. So you call her on the phone to talk about the teachers that you hate, and she says she's all alone and her parents won't be coming home till late. There's a ringing in your brain, 'cause you could have swore you thought you heard her saying, good girls don't, good girls don't, but she'd be telling you, good girls don't, but I do. And it's a teenage sadness everyone has got to taste, and in between age madness that you know you can't erase, till she's know your face. You're alone with her at last, and you're waiting till you think the time is right, 'cause you've heard she's pretty fast, and you're hoping that she'll give you some tonight. So you start to make your play, 'cause you could have swore you thought you heard her saying, good girls don't, good girls don't, but she'd be telling you, good girls don't, but I your face. It hurts. Good girls don't. Good girls don't. What should they telling you? Good girls don't. But I do. Good girls don't. Good girls don't. What should they telling you? Good girls don't. But I do. But I do. But I do. But I do.
Has the mission been completed? You know that I have the greatest enthusiasm for it.
Hi. Could you turn that down just a little bit?
Well, I was told that I could listen to the radio at a reasonable volume from 9 to 11.
Yeah, no, I know you're allowed to. I was just thinking maybe like a, personal favor.
Well, I told Bill that if Sandra's going to listen to her headphones while she's falling, then I should be able to listen to the radio while I'm collating. So I don't see why I should have to turn down the radio because
all right, okay.
I enjoy listening at a reasonable volume.
Thanks.
From 9 to 11.
No.
Fat, drunk, and stupid is no way to go through life, son.
Every day when I get up, I set my brain for self-destruct, killing myself every day of my life. I get the shakes and I get the shivers, sweat on my palms and holes in my liver, killing myself every day of my life. A bottle sits in front of me and laughs at what it's done to me. The bottle ain't no friend of me, but I'm my own worst enemy. Cause never worry, never want to, I never hurry, I never go to, killing myself every day of my life. I got a fuse and I'm gonna strike it. God help me 'cause I think I like it. Killing myself every day of my life. Living easy, living lazy, living just to drive the neighbors crazy. Killing myself every day of my life. A bottle sits in front of me and laughs at what it's done to me. And all my questions go unanswered as I die of my moral cancer. I can't leave 'cause it might rain out. I guess I'll stay inside, blow my brains out. Killing myself every day of my life. I need a savior, I need a real friend, I need a reason to survive the weekend. Killing myself every day of my life.
Now, before I get into Bernie Sanders' pros and his stance and his agenda, as he has now announced to become his intentions to run for the Democratic nomination for President of the United States, and although he is an independent, it is a well-known fact that, for the most part, Bernie Sanders has voted on the Democratic side many more times than the Republican side. Again, nothing about Hillary Clinton. Just as far as when she ran in 2008, her economic agenda mirrored basically what President Obama is doing now. And in fact, the current Obamacare, her plan for Obamacare is even more extensive than the one that was passed by the president. Just want to put that one out there. That she's been kind of, like I say, she's not been very vocal on exactly what she plans to do as far as relieving the burden of the working class, other than to provide an infrastructure program, which sounds promising, and a work program for young adults. And again, though, not much being said by her as far as what she believes should be done